A quick reminder, guys, that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. It is undisputed, and with March Madness here, FanDuel is giving you a chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when their first $5 bet wins. That is $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's going to cut down the nets if you like underdogs. The 5-12 is always a popular upset. 4s have lost to 13s in each of the last 6 NCAA tournaments. If you like one of those, FanDuel has great odds, props, anything you could think of. You can find it on FanDuel in terms of the March Madness betting. So just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and get it on the college hoops action all tournament long. And if you have a winning ticket, make sure you send it in to us, guys. We have a winning ticket today from Joshua Heisler, who won a 10-leg same-game parlay bet on the Cavs-Nets game from Tuesday. Wasn't a huge one, but he had the Cavs money line, Allen, Garland, Mobley, over points. He had Allen rebounds, Mobley assists, Strus assists, Garland assists, made threes from Garland and Strus. It all hit, and Joshua Heisler turned $25 into $105. So shout out to Joshua Heisler for the big win. If you have a winning FanDuel ticket, make sure you tweet it at us, send us an email, and we will feature it here on the show in the coming days. Bull, let's talk about Russell Wilson first.
Yeah.
According to all reports, Russell Wilson is in Cleveland today visiting with the Cleveland Browns. We don't know what the meeting entails. He's meeting with the Giants tomorrow, but today he is in Cleveland meeting with Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, and the Browns front office. Of all the bridge quarterback options, Bull, is Russell Wilson a good choice for the Cleveland Browns?
Russell Wilson's the latest. The answer is yes. It's funny. We've spent a lot of time talking about veteran quarterbacks for the Browns. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure exactly why, I don't think we've even mentioned Russell Wilson that I can recall. We certainly haven't had any kind of long discussion about the possibility of Russell Wilson. Now, I feel like whenever we start a conversation about who's going to be the bridge quarterback potentially for the Browns, it always has to begin with they're not winning the Super Bowl with any of these guys. I think we understand that. So what are you trying to accomplish with a potential bridge quarterback? Good mentor for the young player that you're going to bring in, whether it's this year or potentially next. Somebody that you think can competently run Kevin Stefanski's system. Someone that has high character. The Browns have spent the last bunch of years with no character concerns. What I mean by that is they haven't cared about character concerns. And I look at Russell Wilson and I say, Russell Wilson's a high character player. He may be a cornball, as everybody says, but there's no questioning he's a high character guy. There's no concern with him off the field. He appears to be a good person. Can he make the Browns offense competent, and can he run Kevin Stefanski's system 100%? He is, with all his flaws as a player, especially the last couple of years, he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. 11 interceptions over the last 2 years. That's not a lot. So he's generally smart with the football. He also is durable. I know he missed some games at the beginning of last season, but that's an anomaly. You know from your time with him in Seattle. The guy doesn't miss games, almost never. I know he's older, but so are all these other guys we're talking about. So if you do draft a rookie this year and you don't want to have him play before you think he's ready, Russell Wilson is much more likely to make it through the season than a Kirk Cousins, than a Joe Flacco, or a lot of these other guys we've talked about as bridge quarterbacks. And then finally, the element that I mentioned was, can he be a good mentor for the young player? Apparently he and Justin Fields had a great relationship. By all accounts, he's a good teammate. So I think, and I'm not really sure why we haven't talked about it, I actually think Russell Wilson is the perfect fit. And I think I'm in the minority on this. I don't know about you guys, but from other reaction I've seen online, I think he's a perfect fit for the Browns, and I hope they sign him. Go ahead, guys.
Go ahead, Tyvis.
Yeah. For me personally, I mean, I would take him over Kirk Cousins any day of the week.
100%.
And twice on Sundays.
Yeah.
First of all, and I know I hate Russell.
I didn't say that.
I know you like to float this narrative that I hate Russell. I don't hate Russell.
Okay.
Honestly, I think what the Browns need, period, is a culture change. They need a guy that's going to come in that's won at the highest level, that's a great leader that can inspire change. Because if you bring somebody in there that isn't that or doesn't have those accolades, they can fall into the narrative, well, it's the same old stuff. You know, as we did this last year, it's the same. Like, that can really creep up a lot of people's minds. If things go well, like say they took a Russell and things started going sour next year or this upcoming season, Russell will be the one to stop it and like, this ain't last year. We're not doing that. You know, he's a very positive person. You know, you never see Russell be negative at all. He's always, we be down 35-0 at halftime. He said, we gonna come back. Don't worry. Keep fighting. We coming back. Like, that's the type of guy that he is. So I think the Browns need that type of leadership in the building, not just on offense, but in that entire team. I think he brings that. The only question I have is, and I think Earl put it out on Twitter, is how would Jerry Jeudy feel about this? You know, obviously, because I thought them trading for DK, like DK would be like, oh, I'm back with Russell. Yeah. Because he had some really productive years with Russell. Right. With Jeudy, there's the numbers right there. The numbers, they look pretty good. I mean, I know things didn't go well when he was.
It's over 2 seasons, though, Tyvis.
So 27 games.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought this was 1 year. Excuse me.
27 games.
What's 1425 divided by 27?
Well, that's a 14 per yards an average, I'll tell you that.
I'm going to do that, man.
I think that's the question, though. How would Jeudy feel?
It's 53 yards a game.
How would Jeudy feel about having, because Jeudy will be here longer than Russell will be. Yeah. And Judy's the one that's got to deal with this. And obviously, you know, things didn't go well in Denver. It was a disaster in Denver with Russell there. My thing is, if you want Russell to succeed, you have to have a really good run game. Even when he was with Seattle, you know, I tell y'all all the times about how a lot of the vets on defense felt about Russell. You know, they felt that the defense was so good that it didn't matter what Russell did because the defense was that good. And like I say, if you go back and you look at some of them playoff stats, he didn't have the best games in the postseason, and they still somehow won it. So I will give the defense credit on that. But you got to have a really good run game, which is something that we lacked last year, which is something that they got to get back to. And you got to have receivers that can win a lot of 50-50 balls, which right now Jerry Jeudy's the only guy that can do those things. So I think if you go get Russell, there's other holes that you also need to fill for him to be successful. Because if you go out there and have him sling the pill 50 times a game, at some point it's not going to look well. Plus, we don't have the Johns and the Joes to do that consistently anyway. So, all in all, I say if they decided to get Russell, that's fine. I do think it could impact a little bit of what they do at 2, though. I know a lot of people think that it's a foregone conclusion that they take a quarterback at 2, but
I don't think it's
I feel like if they get Russell, they might get Travis Hunter in with the second number 2 pick and then decide to get a quarterback in the second or third round. So it could impact that.
Travis Henry's old. We don't want him.
Yeah, Travis Henry got like 12 kids.
Yeah.
What you said is exactly what I think in terms of how you view the number 2 pick.
First of all, I don't want to be hated. I want to be loved.
Come on in. There are a lot of people who don't like me. I'm okay with that. There are a lot of people who like me.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. But the fascinating part about this, I left the combine thinking they were going to take a quarterback. And this whole thing with Russ has me rethinking that, because I'll get to how I feel about Russ in a minute, but since you went there, I'll just pick up on that. Russ ain't coming here to be a backup.
No.
Russ is coming here to start.
Russ ain't being no backup, and he ain't being no bridge.
And the Browns, Jimmy ain't taking a quarterback at 2 to sit for a year.
Yeah.
So for the fact that they're even entertaining the idea of bringing Russ here tells me they're not probably going to take a quarterback at 2. And
that shouldn't be a factor, in
my
opinion. Because Russell Wilson's 36 years old.
But if the decision is made that we don't like Shador, we're not going to take a quarterback at 2.
I'm saying they shouldn't make the decision based on whether or not they add
I think they're
Wilson.
making the decision based on what they like at 2. And
then that's fair.
Then you work out from there.
If they've decided that they don't like any of these quarterbacks, or Cam Ward's the only one they like and they're convinced he's going to the Titans, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Kenny Pickett can be a backup. And you can bring in a guy at 2 and Kenny can start the first couple games, then bring him in or whatever. If you sign Russ, you're signing Russ to be your starter for the entire season. There is no we're going to bench him in week 8 and bring, like, that ain't going to fly. That ain't going to fly. With Russ, that ain't going to fly. So for them to even be exploring this tells me now I'm rethinking the whole idea of a quarterback at 2 because I don't think that's the route they're going to go. In terms of Russ, you're shopping in the scratch and dent aisle. Like you're looking over used cars with 100,000 miles on them. Do you want the one with no fenders, or do you want the one with the busted transmission? That's really what you're looking at. And this shouldn't be a surprise. Like the thing that's a little bit surprising to me is Browns fans are like, every name that comes up, oh God, it's Kenny Pickett. Oh
right,
God,
yeah.
what did you expect?
Right, none of these guys have the answer.
We've been saying since December, this is the worst time to go looking for a quarterback. There's none in the draft, or maybe one, and there's none in free. Like, this is what you have to pick from, guys. Yeah. Like, which high-mileage car do you want? Because there's no other great options. Personally, I don't like Russ because I'm scared off by the fact that, like, Denver took the biggest cap hit in history to say, enough, we don't want him. Get him out of here. The Steelers moved on from him.
It worked.
The Steelers moved on from him. Like, the Steelers don't want him back. They could re-sign him right now. They don't want him back.
I told you what the biggest issue with Russ, and tell me when y'all see that I'm wrong, y'all tell me that I'm wrong. Russell will give you, if it's 17 games, Russell will give you 8 really good games. And then the last 9, it just completely
falls apart.
Exactly what happened last year in Pittsburgh. Like, he literally was good, and then he just fell apart at the end.
That's better than these other guys are going to give you.
But is it? Because what are you trying to accomplish? Honestly, like, you guys may kill me for this.
Yeah.
I'd rather start Kenny Pickett than Russ Wilson.
Why, you want them to lose?
No. He's 26. Russ is 36. What are you gaining by playing Russ? What are you gaining?
Well, what's your goal? Is your goal to win as many games as possible?
Well, if you do that, now you've taken yourself out of position to go get a quarterback next year.
So we need to just go ahead and just stink this year so we can get a quarterback next year.
Since December.
But consistent.
The problem is
teams don't want to lose on purpose.
But no, listen.
The problem is, do you think that they're secure past this year?
No, that's where all the motives aren't aligning here. And this is why
that's what I'm saying.
But okay, so Russ goes out and wins you 9 games.
Yeah.
Now what? Now he's 37. You still don't have a quarterback, and now you're not in position to get that. Kenny Pickett is 26. Is he the answer? No, probably not. But he's 26 and on a rookie contract. Play him, and if you run into something, okay, great. And if you don't, now you're in position. It was the same reason that I gave for DTR. Play DTR to find out what you have. You found out what you had. Nothing. But guess what? It got you the number 2 pick in the draft. So play Pickett. Like, I don't understand the idea of
what
are you chasing?
They might not be here if they play Pickett. That's the problem,
right?
Like, if Jimmy came out and told Kevin and AB, you know what, y'all are secure. No matter what happens this season, y'all are secure.
But you can't trust him.
Yeah, well,
you can't take him at his word.
Yeah, but
he's told people that before and fired him 2 weeks later.
So what you want him to do, Jason?
I want him to play Kenny Pickett right now.
No,
right now, where it stands right now.
I'm
not about to get fired for this.
Go ahead real quick, Mike.
Well, I just got one thing on Russ because, Ty, you played with him. We watched him last year.
Great guy.
Yeah.
And
great guy.
Jason and Bull, you guys are, for the most part, been Stefanski offensive on his side. I'll call you defenders for the example.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
When I look at what Russ Wilson did last year, what he's done the last couple of seasons, he still throws a great deep ball. Mm-hmm. He's a shorter quarterback and likes to play out of shotgun. And although he's decent at play action, all the numbers show he's decent at play action, a lot of it comes from the shotgun. That doesn't necessarily fit with Kevin Stefanski's concepts of saying, I want to go back to my offense, under center play action, where they don't take a ton of deep shots regardless. So and Russ doesn't throw to the middle of the field, which is where Stefanski likes to operate a lot of his routes. I'm just not sure from a pure stylistic standpoint, take the draft out of it, if Russ can execute the stuff that Kevin theoretically wants to execute.
I don't know. It's not.
Am I reaching on that?
I think he can.
I think because I think when they was in Seattle, they operated under center with Bevel. I mean, they did some shotgun stuff, which Kevin does shotgun stuff as well.
Yeah, right.
But a lot of stuff is under center, so I think he has experience with doing those things. As far as the over the middle, listen, at the end of the day, Russell's seen a lot of football. He understands defense, and he don't turn the ball over. You've heard them come out multiple times and say we decision making is what we want.
Yep.
Check. He doesn't turn the check.
I just think you can't go
into
every season
the same guy that
we got to suck this year for a quarterback.
I'm not saying every season. I'm saying one season.
No.
And I'm not saying you have to suck. I'm saying play the guy who it might Is Kenny Pickett the future? No, but maybe there's someone else out there. I actually talked to a coach who loved Daniel Jones, who thought that the Browns it felt like the Giants mismanaged Jones, and there was something there. I'm just telling you. I was an NFL coach. I was talking to the combine.
The Giants should trade for Anthony Richardson. My hot take.
Why can't the Browns trade for Anthony?
No. Because, see, Brian Daboll has got Josh Allen right. So he knows how to work with quarterbacks like that, in that ilk. So, like, he would be fine.
I don't see the upside.
That has nothing to do with the Browns.
I just don't see the upside of playing Russell Wilson.
The upside is he gives you the best chance to win as many games as possible.
Okay, great.
And that may be what the team wants to do.
And then what are you going to do next year?
Next year, you're going to start over again.
But
isn't
there more options?
But Jason, if you finish with the 6th pick in the draft, you're still not going to get the quarterback you want. So the only way to get the quarterback you want, I don't know how many great quarterbacks there are.
Why not at 6? You could absolutely get a quarterback at 6 next year.
How many quarterbacks are there going to be? We don't even know.
We don't know.
It's going to be like, you talking about like first round worthy?
How
like
often?
4 or 5.
How often? We think now it changes.
It does change because some of them fall on their face.
But how often do you have years like this year, this draft,
where
everybody who follows this stuff says, oh, this is a terrible quarterback. How often does that happen?
Not that often, but
once every 10 years.
Also, there's not a lot of years where there's more than 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks that people really
Now,
like.
I agree. Like
last year was the anomaly also.
NIL has changed the landscape of how long these guys can stay. So I agree. It's hard to say who's going to come out and who's going to go back because they can make money now in college. I'm just saying, it's not a great position to be in. Like, this is a terrible spot to be in for the Browns.
Yes.
This is a horrible year to go and try and find a quarterback. I just don't see the upside in playing a 36-year-old who every other team that he's played for couldn't wait to get rid of him. His arm is shot.
I think
his arm is shot.
I think his arm is shot.
Kirk Cousins' arm is shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, here's his go. I think that what it is ultimately, I think the organization feels guilty for last year. So I think for once they're saying to themselves, we got to give our guys the best chance to win games this year. And I think if you look at it from that standpoint, because they owe it to them. You seen what happened last year, how they chose, I ain't going to beat that dead
Fans
horse.
want to win games. And
of course they do.
To the detriment of maybe the long-term health of the team.
But that's what a healthy team is focused on is where are we going? What are we trying to accomplish, and where are we going? Russ Wilson accomplishes nothing in the short term. Nothing. Well, short term or long term.
Well,
he's going to win you a couple games.
Right. The Browns will win more games starting Russell Wilson than Kenny Pickett.
Yes. How many? Yeah, probably right.
How many more?
1, 2,
maybe 2 or 3.
I don't think.
What's
3.
the Browns? Is the Browns schedule like that next year?
I don't even remember.
They got a 4th place schedule.
Well, but that's overrated though, because it's only 3 games that are different.
Well, that's a pretty big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah, but
3 out of 17.
I actually think they have a harder schedule than the
stay
Bengals
on,
who finished
it's
3rd
driving me
because of
crazy.
some weird teams. I think the Browns' schedule is pretty tough.
Here's who they play next year. I got it right here.
Well, who are the 3? Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, at home,
yeah.
they have
Forget
9
the
home
division.
games.
Just give us
9
the
home
other.
games next year. Buffalo, Green Bay, Miami, Minnesota, San Francisco, Tennessee, and then the 3 division games.
Yeah, they need Russell.
That's
On the road, they have Chicago, Detroit, the Raiders, the Patriots, the Jets, and the 3 division games.
How many games do they win with Kenny Pickett? 6?
I don't think so.
Less than 6?
Yeah.
I think they can win 6. And what are you going to win with Russ? 9?
So no, I don't think so either.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
You know what, though? Okay. So you start Kenny Pickett.
And then listen, I'm not a Kenny Pickett defender.
I understand. No, I understand that.
I'm just saying
that's what thinks he can be the next Sam Darnold.
Wait. Yeah.
So and I'm gonna and I texted a coach today when I got back from Europe. I texted an NFL coach who knows Pickett really well. It's like, what do you think? No skin in the game, no dog in the fight, just like unbiased opinion. He's like, I don't see it. Said. Lacks confidence, which is the worst thing you could say about a quarterback.
Oh, my goodness.
Arm strength is so. Like, I don't see it.
No athletic ability. Or top-end athletic ability.
So the confidence thing, I was like, well, that's the worst thing you could say about a quarterback. I think we talked about it on the show. I talked to Mike Martz a couple weeks ago for a story I was working on. And Mike back said, like, give me the guy who thinks he can throw it through the keyhole, and I can work with that. I can rein him in. If you give me somebody who doesn't believe in himself, there's nothing I could do with that.
Yeah.
So did Pickett just get broken by the end in Pittsburgh, and is that something Kevin could rebuild? I don't know. But I mean,
how I feel
certainly
about Danny Dimes.
Certainly, it was not a glowing endorsement that I got on.
So let me ask you this: you're in the camp of starting Kenny Pickett
right now.
Yeah.
Given the options they have right now,
That's fine.
Yeah.
What you doing at 2? Does it change what you do at 2?
You can have Kenny Pickett, you can draft a quarterback at 2.
So you
100%.
if you was running the team, you start Kenny Pickett but take a quarterback at 2.
If they like Shador,
But they're not letting Russell Wilson determine whether or not they draft a quarterback.
you start with who you like in the
Yes,
draft and then
right.
work out from there.
Yes.
If you're right about Russell Wilson, that means they're not going to draft a quarterback at 2. I hadn't gone that far.
I
but
feel
okay,
like-
let's say you're right about that.
I feel like
that
you can't
means they
take a
don't like
quarterback at 2.
they either don't like the quarterbacks or they think they got no chance of Cam.
No, I think is if they sign Russell Wilson, I think that they think all these quarterbacks outside of maybe Cam Ward needs to sit a year.
Yes.
So if that's the case, it doesn't matter if we get Shador at number 2 because he's not going to be ready to play this year. So we might as well not even get him. Get somebody that can come in and contribute this year. Take a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round because they all going to have to sit anyway.
I think Russ is your
there
starter, Kenny's your backup, and whoever you draft in the 2nd round or later is your 3rd quarterback.
I think they got to. I mean, if they don't take a quarterback at 2, I think they got to take Travis Hunter. You got to. He's.
Abdul or Travis.
I don't want Abdul. I don't want a defensive line.
I'd put Miles on one side and Abdul Carter on the other.
Abdul or Travis.
Give me a special.
Listen,
give me a player that's going to score points.
At the end of the day, it boils down to 4 names. At 2, it's only 4 options: Cam, Shador, Travis, Abdul. That's it.
I'll take
any other name, it's gonna be a problem.
I'll take the special unicorn that could put up big points rather than a defensive lineman that did it for 1 year.
I wouldn't hate it.
I take you talking about you take Travis Hunter over Abdul Carter
Every day of the week.
I would too.
Yeah.
Because on top of that, I tell MJ, you keep messing around if you want to. Sorry, Earl. You mess around if you want to.
Yeah. Plus, Abdul
we
Carter,
got your replacement
Abdul
right
Carter
here.
did it for 1 year and has got a foot issue. No thanks.
If it doesn't affect him in pro
I'd
day,
be happy with either one of them.